Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin and today I am ranking all of my eyeshadow palettes from Melt Cosmetics. I wanted to do this partially because the day I'm uploading it is the last day of their up to 80% off sale on their website. And also I know they've just been a hot topic lately with their Nightmare Before Christmas release and their upcoming collaboration with Bailey Sarian. So without much further ado, let's get into the ranking. Before we get too far into the video, if you have not already, I would love it if you would consider subscribing. I upload videos twice a week. It is totally free to subscribe and I would love to talk to you in the comments about all things makeup. Okay, so disclaimer, I do not own every Melt palette ever. These are only ranking the ones that I use, and in fact, there's one that I own that will not be in the ranking. It is the limited edition Mariposa, whatever the butterfly one is. I bought that and have yet to use it, so I'm not going to rank it because I haven't used it. It is unfortunately in my current eyeshadow palette pile of shame. I will leave my playlist of my pile of shame series if you're interested in seeing that. But I do have 8 other Melt palettes in my collection that I wanted to rank for you in case you're shopping the sale. The bigger palettes are marked down to 25 and the smaller down to 20. The elemental ones I think are even 15 if you want to shop the sale, or if you're just looking to pick something else up if you are planning on shopping the palette when it drops on Monday the 4th from Bailey Sarian's collab. So if there's a palette you don't see, that doesn't mean I missed it. I just probably don't own that one. And I know there are several that I really want. I don't have She's and Party, Smoke Sessions, Mary Jane. I think those are the 3 I really want out of the ones I don't have, but here we go. The lowest one is the Gemini 2 palette, and I love the color story. I'll leave linked the video that I did on this palette on my channel if you want to see it in action. And any of these palettes I've filmed videos on. Here's the palette. The only reason this one is ranked so low is because this is the only palette from Melt I have ever had quality issues on. If you are new to Melt Cosmetics, they are an indie brand that's pretty pricey, and they have had issues, many people have reported over the years, of mold, I say it in air quotes, growing on their shadows over time. I say it in air quotes because the brand says that it's totally safe and not mold, and there's it's okay, it's fine. And this is the first palette and the only palette I have ever had it happen with, on the shade Mateo. I don't know if you can see there, but we've definitely got what looks like, what I have seen other people describe and talk about with their shades. So whether it is safe or not, that alone, it's not attractive. It's kind of questionable, right? And my thing is, all of these other cosmetics companies have figured it out. They don't have this problem. So this is not an old palette. It's the Gemini 2. It's not a super old release, maybe a year old at this point. Why can't Melt figure it out so that their formula doesn't do that when all these other companies have figured it out, right? Now, please don't take that too negatively. Obviously, I love Melt if I have 9 palettes from them, and I continue to purchase palettes and other products from their brand. However, this is ranked the lowest because I don't feel like having something like that wrong with your formula is acceptable, especially for the price point that Melt Cosmetics charges. And number 7 is the Millennial Pinks palette. I don't even think you can get this palette anymore. I believe I got mine in a mystery box. I'll leave my couple mystery boxes that I have purchased in the past from Melt Cosmetics linked. I think the mystery boxes are the greatest value, by the way, other than this up to 80% off sale. If you are looking to ever try out the brand, do those mystery boxes, because if they have a palette included on it for 25 bucks, you get quite a bit of stuff. Now this one is ranked low, not because I had any quality issues like the Gemini 2, but just because this is the weakest in pigmentation. The deep shades are fine in pigmentation, but a lot of these mattes, they just don't have a lot of punch. They don't have a lot of pigmentation, and Melt's shimmers in general are not my favorite formula. They are not super impressive. I think they're okay with the glitter primer. It gives them a little oomph so that they are acceptable, but they're not impressive to me on their own by any means. but a lot of palettes do usually have more mattes than shimmers, I feel like, for melt. This is actually a lot of shimmers, being that it's 5 of them in this particular palette. But what I use this one for a lot is if I either want a light look or I want to blend something else out, I'll use one of these lighter shades. So again, I wouldn't call it a bad palette, but it just lacks pigmentation. Even the shades that look a little deeper are not super pigmented. And if that's what you're looking for, that's great, but that wasn't really what I was looking for. And number 6 is the 420 palette. This one, I actually love the color story. I love all things grungy, green, chartreusey, pukey colored, right? That's lovely. There's no issues there. There's no complaints there. There's the color story. And this one has, let's see, only 1 shimmer in it, which is fine, again, because I said Matte's not really known for like a stellar shimmer formula as it is, at least in my personal opinion and the opinions of quite a few other YouTubers of people that I watch. But this is not ranked any higher because even though I love the color story, the mattes in particular on this one are super crazy fallout. Like, you put your brush in and it's just like everywhere, so messy. So like go in with the light hand and tap it. But I just feel like even when I'm careful with this one, you pretty much have to do your eyes first because it makes a mess with fallout all over the face, all over my desk, like just everywhere. So color story, yes, no issues with the formulation per se, but just fallout really bad on that one. And number 5 is the Vita palette. Now this one never got as much love as Muerte, I don't think. And I don't really know why. I do like this color story. I know it's a little more like summery, but that was kind of the point, right? I've done some really nice like sunsetty looks with this part of the palette. And I think you can even get some neutral stuff with the browns in there in the middle. I don't know that this one is on their site anymore, but this is like a slept on one in my opinion. Maybe if you don't like the color story, I could see. It doesn't have a lot of depth, but I have so many black shadows, it's not a big deal for me to take a deep brown or a navy or a dark green, whatever, from another palette and deepen this one up if that's what I want to do and not have it light. But I think the mattes were much better in this one. There were no issues with quality. The pigmentation is good. All of the complaints I've had about the things I ranked lower than this one, not those issues with this one. So the only reason it's not ranked any higher is because, like I said, I do feel like unless I want an all light look that I have to reach for something else, and this is more of a companion palette. It just doesn't go as deep as I would like, but a good quality palette all around in all the aspects that I had complaints about previously with the other ones. In number 4 is the Vita's partner, the Muerte. Can we just look at them side by side to remember and appreciate? This was such a moment when these came out, no? The Muerte is still available on their site, and it's $25 as part of that sale that ends today. And this one is all of the depth that the other palette didn't have. So as a pair, they're perfect because this has all of the depth that the other one didn't have. And in fact, if you want to call it a complaint or reason I didn't rank this one higher, is that as a standalone palette, it is too many midtones and deep tones that I feel like I have to reach with this one too to get something lighter. So they were released as a pair, obviously meant to go, I think, together. So it seems like a moot point to complain one doesn't have depth and one doesn't have any light when they were meant to be a pair. But if I have to rank them as like standalone palettes, that's kind of how I feel. And I do rank the dark a little bit higher than the light because even a dark shadow, you can place the pigment so that it's mostly concentrated in one end or in one like spot and like blend it out so that it does have like the edges be lighter, but it doesn't matter how much of a light shadow you use, it's never gonna get darker, if that makes any sense. Number 3 is the Blueprint palette. This is one I got in a mystery box. I never would have picked this up on my own, and it's number 3 in my ranking. I love the matte touch packaging. This used to be one of their stacks, and I think it's so cool that on the outside they have like the design of the stacks, the originals that they had. and they just basically changed it into a palette. I've used this quite a few times. You can probably see some of these pans have some love. These are used. I don't rank things high if I've like barely used them or touched them usually. And I love a deep navy shadow to deepen up the outer corner of the eye or as a liner. And blue shadow I don't normally go for, but this has half of it is neutral paired with blue, and that is how I have found that I enjoy blue, paired with a neutral. And this Skylight shade is almost like an iridescent sea foam that is so pretty in the inner corner, especially if you do something neutral and you put a little pop of sea foam in the inner corner. It's gorgeous. It looks so good. Again, one that for me was unexpected that I never would have picked up on my own, but I'm really glad I have. And that makes me want to try some of the others that I'm like, I don't know, am I really missing anything? Because on this one I discovered. And number 2 is another one I never would have picked up on my own, but I got in a mystery box. So again, if you see these mystery boxes, I can't say enough good things about them. Now this one is completely neutral, but oh my goodness, it goes from light to dark. It's got the depth. The shimmers are okay with a glitter primer. I haven't had any quality issues with it. The pigmentation is good. And it's just a really nice everyday. I like that we have these kind of yellowy undertones too to give it a little bit of like, I don't know, just variety. I know it's neutral, but we have like true neutrals, yellow undertones, almost some like reddish undertones in the browns, and then some depth here. There's no black, but again, I don't mind pulling in something. And this one has been one of my more used palettes just on like an everyday basis that I've really enjoyed. And number 1 is the palette I'm actually using today, and maybe it won't be a surprise to you because I feel like this is a cult favorite from the brand. It is the Gemini palette, the original. Now thus far, I have not had any issues in the pans on this one like I have the Gemini 2. And it's just a grungy, lovely, lovely color story, but it doesn't have to go super grungy. I'm wearing Luna in the crease, the lightest shade. I put Cupcake and Bonnie in the outer corner, and then I have Gemini with some glitter primer all over the lid. Those are the shades I used. I didn't go green today, but I played more with these. But this is just like what Melt does so well, is just these unique undertones of some of these greens, and even like Lorelei here, just these really nice undertones that not a lot of brands seem to have mastered. And I think that's what people want from Melt. And I think that's why people, not only because it's Bailey, but if you've seen the palette that she created, that's why people are going crazy over it, because it's those undertones that people love and know from Melt. And it's an all matte palette, so no question about the shimmer quality when there aren't any shimmers in the palette. I do also want to say, if you're shopping the sale, that there are a couple other items from Melt that are stellar that I really think that you should check out. The first I talked about in my haul video recently, I'll leave it linked if you're interested in seeing and you haven't. It is these are the Johnny half lashes. I truly don't think I will ever go back to a full lash. These are the most comfortable, lightweight, and I think kind of natural looking, if that makes sense. They just give the nicest lift on the outer corner and fill things in. But they're so comfortable. I can't stress that enough. They're $5 right now, and I think I've used these at least 5 or 6 times now. I used these in my engagement photos, and the photos came out so great. And also they're bullet lipsticks. I'm wearing this one today. This is in the shade Tease, and it's like one of their little mini ones, but such a nice formula of matte lipstick that it's matte without being over drying. It's not like liquid lip dry, even though it's a matte bullet lipstick. So it's like one of those nice magnetic closure type situations. Like the component is nice, and it's on sale for a crazy amount right now. If you're watching this the day I'm uploading. So yeah guys, those are all of my Melt Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes. I really do want the Bailey Sarian one. I'm like worried it's gonna sell out. I don't really want to pay 50 some dollars for an eyeshadow palette, I'm not gonna lie, but we'll see, we'll see. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you like Melt Cosmetics? What products do you like? Do you like the eyeshadow palettes? Do you like some of the other products? Did you get the Nightmare Before Christmas collection? I did not. If it goes on sale, I might, but I passed originally, so we'll see. And are you gonna get the Bailey Sarian collab? I'm really curious to know. Hope you're having a great rest of your day and hope to see you again on the next one. Bye.